Welcome back to Satisfactory. I'm sorry about the delay in the publish time for those of you who were expecting this at a specific time. For those of you who come watch it later, just ignore that. I've had to do a fair amount of planning, so I've been doing that off camera so that I can actually show you guys the tasty things that I want to share with you instead of all the things that takes a lot of time and would just be fluff. So we're up here now, and as you guys can see, we have 3 miners out here in the Dune Desert, and I realized very quickly that this height for this platform is not going to be viable because of the height of these things. We are going to have to go higher. But that's neither here nor now, so let's start by having a look at these miners. This is a copper node normal, which I have belted out, and apparently in the Dune Desert the game is a bit more liberal with the heights of the foundations, because some of these nodes are literally in 45-degree angles. So I'm just using a small elevator or lift to get it down, and then it's belted down towards down there. Now we have another iron mine, which is over there, and I can see a snack tree down there, but I'm going to ignore that. And that's an example of what I mean by the game being a bit more liberal in terms of how far above the node the miner is allowed to be. I'm not sure if this is a global thing or if it's just applied to these nodes, but your node is all the way down there, and this would not function in my previous playthrough. Not at all. This is a normal node. It's using a lift, Mark 1 of course, down there, and I'm belting it off. I probably could have done this belt differently, but never mind. It's not very expensive. All it costs is a bit of iron rods and iron plates, and we have plenty of those. Then the belt is taken over here to this node, and this is a pure iron node. I'm not sure if I can see the node. Yeah, maybe here. Yeah. So this is a pure node. This one is actually producing 120 per minute on a Mark 1 miner, which is nice. And I'm using lifts to get these 2 down here. Let's follow these belts. We'll meet the copper ore belt as well. I haven't attached power yet because I wanted to show what I've done before attaching power, and I don't want to attach power before everything is ready. So down here you can see that the copper belt is intersecting at a different level the 2 iron belts, or iron ore belts, and the copper belt is veering out to the right there, leaving that entrance. I haven't done anything else than that's the final belt segment you can see there. And then these 2 iron belts come in here, and they go to a mini smelter array. Since we only have Mark 1 belts, we only can use 2 smelters per belt anyways at the time being. I haven't configured this yet, so let's do that. I've also left that there for my own sanity's sake, so I don't forget what I actually did here. This one is already set to iron. And over here I have prepared the smelting array for copper. So these 2 smelters will be smelting copper ore down to copper ingots. And so you can also see that I've built a foundation part area here, of course. And I did the same thing with that node. I removed the miner and I put foundations underneath, and then set up the miner anew and belted it off. And I removed some vegetation and stuff here as well. So hopefully what I will be able to squish into this episode is setting up more iron rod production, more iron plate production, copper wire production, potentially cable production, not sure about that, but also complete the current milestone And also, of course, we also need to set up the screw production. So with that said, let's just continue doing what I've been doing here. So we want to use a merger here, and we want it to align to both sides. This specific merger we want to take out this way, and we want to have 4 in height. As for these ones, we want them to align up, but we want the merger to face that direction instead, and we only want 3 here. I've already planned out that was what took me so much time, because I wanted that exit to be directly into this for these 2 new constructors that I've built here that are going to make plates. That is, of course, a vanity thing, and I really didn't need to be that meticulous about it, but it's how I like to design my factories, and is also part of why I'm making this tutorial, to show how you can do things like that. But I don't think I need to show that. Well, I can explain it. Basically what I did was that I know that I need a distance between a smelter and a merger. As I also know that I need a distance between a smelter and the splitter input if I do it above head, as I'm doing here, so that I can walk underneath. And I know that that distance has to be, and you can see there is the first location I can actually, well, you can build it there, but it seems you can build it anywhere actually without any encroaching. But there is the first location you can actually build it, and where you would be able to connect the belt. If you build it there, you wouldn't be able to connect the belt. And I also think that if you build it there, you would get encroaching if you tried to build a belt from that one, because this would definitely encroach. There wouldn't be no way that you could build a belt out from there. But this is the first location where you can build a belt. Now, when you build that belt, what you can do is just take it out straight if you want to do that, and use regular conveyor poles. But what I'm doing here is I know that I need to go out 2. So from there, 1, 2. That is the minimum distance that you can do this. And let me also show you the next thing there. But yeah, that's what I did. I aligned that first, and that meant that I knew where I needed to place the smelters, and then I could do the backside with the belts here, because I have ample space here. I also wanted to take into consideration this rock outcropping here, so that I can have these splitters in a line here. This little thing here is going to be potentially annoying, but I don't think it will be. So what I then do is, of course, connect up the lifts. Now, as you can see, I'm not allowed to place a lift there. So that's interesting. If I had placed it one more out, I would be able to take the lift from that. But in this case, I have to take the lift from the smelter itself, because if I do that, then I'm allowed to place the lift. Kind of a weird thing. Not sure why, but I don't complain. It works. But this is why this is the minimum distance. If I had placed it one closer, the lift would have been red no matter what I did. If I had placed it one farther away, I could have placed it from either the merger there, or I could have placed it from where I'm doing it now, aka the machine. But I want this to be compact, and I didn't want to use 3 spacings, because then that outcropping over there would be an issue. I would not be... You can see the line here is already very close to that. I might even get some clipping there, but I'm not too concerned about the clipping, because all of what you see here is going to go away eventually anyways. That might sound strange, but that's how it is. This is a temporary startup setup that I'm using now. So, yeah. Now, I want to place... whatever, actually. It could be a splitter or merger, but I need to place one of those to see. So 1, 2, and 1, 2. And I take this up to the maximum height, and now I can get a perfect 90-degree angle like that. the other way I could have done that, which is also helpful. And in case I haven't mentioned it, as it says on the screen here, dismantle. If you look at the instructions down and above my my hotbar, dismantle, hold left mouse button, LMB. Close, press Q, RMB or ESC, or escape. Mask dismantle, hold left control. What it doesn't say is that you can tap left control. I'm pretty sure I explained this earlier. So tapping left control to select one item in whatever distance you want. And you can also see on the screen what I would get into my inventory. So if I don't have room for this, there will be crates all over the place where I have to pick them up. So the other way I could have done this is by taking the belt. And it's fairly meticulous, I think. I'm not sure if it's even possible. Yeah, it is possible, but that doesn't give a perfect angle because that's three off. So I find it easier to just do it this way, where I just count manually. Again, 1, 2, 1, 2, and use the mouse wheel to turn it, and then up with it. And again, I will get the perfect 90-degree angle here. Now, for those of you who might be curious about why I'm placing it there, I need it to go past these constructors that are making plates, because we need these for making iron rods. And then I need it on a different height so that I don't have belts clipping in one another. I could, of course, have taken it on level 2, but I don't like doing things on level 2. I find that the minimum level that I want to do things on is level 3. So, in that sense, 1, 2, 3, 4. And that has to do with vehicles, which we get later on. For some vehicles, the largest ones, you actually have to do it on level 4, because the vehicles are too tall to get underneath it. But that's the biggest vehicle in the game. Now, let's pull this thing. Just let me see how far I can get it. It's on that angle. You can see over there that it's on the grate here. It's on the first, on the inner part of the grate, and not the foundation. What are these seams called? Seams. Let's call them foundation seams. So I want this to come here, I think. And now, back in the days, before I was more experienced than I am now, I would have done this. I would have placed a pole like that to get the perfect 90-degree angle. Because again, you would get a perfect 90-degree angle like that, and it looks very neat, but you don't need that. So you can save a bit of resources there. We know we want it on this angle. So let's just place this here. Because I've placed down this belt over here. So we are going to align it to this belt. And this is in between, it's actually in the middle of the foundation. Let's place that here, just so I know where I'm at. And then we can see that we're going to come in on this angle here. So we want this to be 1, 2, and we go up. And then we remove these two. And if I now place a belt there and attach that to this, voila, 90 degrees there and 90 degrees here. So you don't need any intermediary poles in between here. You can just do that one to that one, and it will actually make a pretty neat and correctly angled belt. That also applies to belt conveyor stacker poles, which we will get to later on, of course. So here we go. Now I have one belt of 60 iron ingots coming out from the smelters when we actually fire them up, going over there, where we have the other one from these two going directly into these two constructors over here. I think I want to set this up right away so that we actually do it, or have it manufacturing things, I should rather say. So I have set up two constructors here. I didn't think it was necessary to show me placing down the constructors. I just left them here. What I've done here, by the way, just so you can see in terms of the structure and stuff that I'm doing, This one is actually a little bit misaligned. It would or should be one step further back, but then you have 1, 2, 3 foundations, and then this one is correctly angled. That is the bottom foot here is on the corner, and the front foot also extends out on this corner. And then again, 1, 2, 3, and you'll see the same here, corner, and again 1, 2, 3, and corner. This gives you at least one foundation you can walk on in between of the constructors, and that's just how I prefer to have things. So yeah, you do what you think is best, of course, but this is my preferred way of doing things, and that's one way of keeping your base neat. Now, again, this one is a bit more tricky, because if I go just 2 out here, I'm not sure if I'm allowed to place a lift. As a matter of fact, I think I'm not. That one should be red, and yeah, that one is red as well. So with the constructors, it's a little bit different than with the miners, so you need to keep things like that in mind as well. Here we have to go out 3. So 1... Now I'm being silly. No, you can go out 2, but when you go out 2, you can't go out 2 from that location. You have to go out 2 from that location. That's how it is, of course. But I think I want to go out 3 here, to make it look uniform with the other machines, where you can see the what are those, bellows? These the plastic or the rubber. No, it's not a bellows. The rubber. Yeah, whatever. Someone will tell me what it's called in the commentary, and most of you know what I'm talking about, anyways. So we need to place 4 in height here, and we also need to do the same here. Now I don't really need to count; I can just follow the lines. And apparently my enthusiasm about splitters having been fixed in terms of that turning thing, it's all wrong. They don't do it, it's random. They haven't fixed that, but hopefully someday they will. Now on this one I can just do, we're in the middle, so I could either do one there, but I'll rather do one here. Again, 2 away, to have the 90-degree angle. So, oh, that wasn't the right height. There we go. And like so. Again, we get the correct turn. We hold down Control to select those and remove them, and we of course then attach a lift. And remember that clonk sound, which is fairly important because it means that you have the machine connected. These I normally wouldn't need to have 3 in distance between, because these machines are not going to any kind of container. These machines are going directly over there. So to explain that, each of these, I really don't like the no power thing. That is very annoying when you're trying to set up things in the game. So I hope that the developers move this either down or up, because it is anywhere else except over the recipe, because planning out things when this thing is here is kind of annoying. But no matter, I know that this thing requires 10 iron rods to create 40 parts per minute, that is 40 screws. So it's 1 rod per 4 screws. You can see that in the craft bench, 1 to 4. So I know it is 10 just by that simple calculation, but I also know it out of heart. And you can check recipes online. Satisfactory.greeny.dev has a very, very good recipe display, where you can actually cross-reference all the recipes and resources in the game and what they're used in, the alternate recipes. It's brilliant, and I interactively use the satisfactorycalculator.com, which is satisfactory-calculator.com, and satisfactory.greeny.dev. I use those all over one another, or intermittently, or whatever the word there is, because both of them are very powerful in their own way. That's aside, let's do the moving of the products over there. So we want to go out precision mouse button, like I have on now. You can see that it's moving way slower. I'm moving my mouse a lot, as normally it would be like this. Precision mouse button is very, very useful when you are counting things like this. I think that was 3. Yeah, that was 3. We need to make sure that the green is going that way. 2, 3. 3 will suffice here. And the green arrow should go that way, correct? 1, 2, 3. Now, things here will change when we get better belts. Because one of the reasons why this is I might have gone too far out here, actually. No, I didn't. Everything changes when you get higher tier belts, of course. And that is also part of the fun. We are overproducing the iron rods, because we are actually producing... no, we aren't overproducing. We are producing 30. We are overproducing iron ingots. That's what we're doing. We're producing 60 iron ingots, but I'm just using half of it. So, okay, let's continue here. We need the red to be like that. And finally, this one, we also need the red to be like that. We can remove these. Take a belt, put it over there, and we take the belt. Oh, bother. I think I placed the wrong thing here. I probably placed a merger and not a splitter. It definitely looks like that. Yep. There we go. So, connect the belt to that, connect the belt to that, connect the belt to that. And then connect the lifts. Like so. And then, of course, we need power. So, let's place down the power poles. Also, the reason why I'm not bothered about the clipping, because the power poles clip through these. The reason I'm not bothered by that is because when we redo things, that clipping is not going to be present anymore. So it's a highly temporary thing that I have that clipping. I normally don't like the clipping, but in this specific situation, I just couldn't bother less about it, because I know that this is not how the final factory is going to look anyways. Let's use the end power pole as the connection pole. Again, consistency. I like having consistency. And yes, I'm also aware that this power pole is redundant. Don't really need it. But again, my kind of building style and all that. Need some more cables, so we need to handcraft that. Thankfully that's quick to handcraft, so I'm not too worried about that. I wouldn't have needed that cable if I didn't build those power poles, I think. There we go. And remove that. Because I'm pretty sure this requires... No, it doesn't require cable, so never mind. Connect this to that. So those are connected. This one needs to be connected to that. And this one needs to be connected to that. Now we also need power to go out to those miners. And I'm pretty sure that we are going to require more power. I am very certain that those 3 generators over there are not going to be able to keep up with this. So let's go connect up the power first before we do the storage box for the... Sorry, my brain stopped working there. For the screws. I'll just use the power line here and continue with that. Let's try to avoid clipping. Because this probably is permanent. I cannot see any reason why I would go around and change these things. Floor is too steep. That's a very rare thing. Well, I guess we're going to place it here then. As you can see, that's the thing with the Dune Desert. What the heck? These things just lying randomly around? Okay. The ore nodes, they're interspersed in the landscape in very random locations. Like someone just splashed them down. Like, we need one here, we need one here. Whoomp, 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 and there we have lots of ore nodes. I think that's one of the challenges with the Dune Desert. One that I find interesting, of course, because I have plans. Have no fear, I have plans for this. Probably mentioned it before. I can't wait to show those plans when I finally get to that level, which is the Megabase level. When we get to that level, I'm going to be very, very eager to hear what people think about that. Well, the plan or the... Can you? Oh. That's brilliant. I can't connect more to that connection. That's that connection. That's fine. I'm very, very eager to hear what people think of what I intend to do here. And I'm not going to spoil it. So I'm deeply sorry. Oh, no, that's too long. Deeply sorry. You'll just have to wait in suspension for that. But hopefully, I don't know, hopefully it will be quite nice. Let's grab some snack tree nuts. Okay, so we have power to the mines as well now. That was fairly important. Now we have to go, because I haven't bothered wasting energy, or rather the solid biofuel, while I've been doing this. So I just let the generators run out, and I've let them be red ever since, because except for concrete, they're not really producing anything that I need. The generators do consume the biofuel in accordance with actual usage. So if you have no machines that are using power, the machine won't burn through the biofuel like there's no tomorrow, thankfully. But biofuel is a limited resource, limited by the vegetation. Had we been in the forest, I would have had plenty of vegetation, but I only have the vegetation that grows along the mountainside here, these oases and the waterfalls, or I would have to go all the way over to the other side of the Dune Desert, which is a fairly long way to travel. So that's why I'm being conservative. Now, is this enough? Okay, so we're up to 54 megawatts. But that's not with those new constructors over there working, the ones that I set up for screws. You can see the burn ratio here on the efficiency. I think that's the one that I didn't understand completely, that we got from one of the technologies. This percentage here. So it's burning at a fairly high rate. Yeah, no, we're gonna need another one, that's for sure. The copy paste tool is you go into deconstruction mode and you middle mouse button click to sample. I don't remember if there's another way to go into that, but I think that's the way you do it. Can't afford. Oh, I need copper wire for that. I place that between. I believe 4 should suffice. I want to have as few as possible. Have done some more devegetationing in the area. I need to have a stack of them with me as well for when I use the chainsaw. So there are more biofuel being produced in this little chain that I have here. Let's put that in there, so we get up to 120. 120 should hopefully be enough. Now we just need to go double check that everything here is set correctly, and we also need to set up the output of the screws. I don't remember if I set these to actually produce screws. No, I didn't. Good thing I checked, because we want screws to be produced as quickly as possible. Now you can see it has power, so it says 10 per minute. We need a merger, and we need that to be on the green line, please. And let's hold the precision button down. 1, 2, 3, and the green arrow should be pointing that way. 2, I think I put that at 3. Yeah, no. That's at... No, it is at 3. Need a merger here. And I'm probably going to have to handcraft some more copper wire. Because having as little copper wire as I have now is simply unacceptable. We do this, and then we connect this up to there. Connect this up to there, and connect this up to there. Let's sample the storage container, and I need the line. I don't know how far that line goes. I'll just place one temporarily there. And now we need to find both lines. There we go. So we place it there. And we put an elevator here, which we turn that way, and we do this. And now we have a place to store our screws. So now we have all the basic ironwares being produced. Of course, the ore has to come in before anything gets produced whatsoever. And that's going to take a little time, because these belts are long. You can see the copper ore is coming in here now. But I'm not sure about where the... Yeah, there's one belt of iron ore on its way. The other one should come much later, because the belt is going over there. I don't know, if I use the photo mode, can I see over there? This is like having binoculars. Yeah, it's definitely on its way, but it's going to take some time. So while this takes its sweet time getting to the base, let's go deal with the copper. Not that one, but the other one. That one I need to work on the placement of the smelters for, because I'm not sure where to put those smelters. The belt comes there, and I don't want smelters here, so I want to have it go around or something so that I get the smelters together here. And I'm sorry, but you're in the way. Toodaloo! I don't like killing them, but they take a heck of a lot of punishment before they die, so have no fear. Animal rights are being... Oh, I actually thought that was too short. Would you please understand that this is not an appropriate location for you to be? Thank you. We need power to that thing. That thing being the mine, of course. Can we do this? I think we can. Perfect. Now copper ore should be coming out from there. And while we wait for the copper ore to come out, we can start working on the array for making... I think that's for the first... We need 2 arrays here. We need... Oh, that's completely wrong. Yeah, I need to go handcraft some copper wire. I will pause while I do that. The pause screen might not appear because I haven't used it. I find out that I have to use it once before it appears. So if you get an abrupt pause here, I do apologize in advance. Yep, it didn't work with the pause screen, so I do apologize for the abruptness there. The next time I do it, it's most likely going to work. Testing that. So yeah, I need to remember to just do that once before I actually start recording. So yeah, let's get back to what I was doing. We want this on the corners, so we have one constructor there and one constructor there, and we set these to create a wire. And let me just check something. The cable requires 60. Good. So what I want to do here then is break my own rules for what I said that I would do in terms of distance. Let's put this here. We set this to create cable. And then we sample these and we place one here and one here. I'll do more foundations here in between episodes. And we set these to produce a wire as well. Now for the time being, I don't need cable, so I won't attach these to this one. But the point is that these will be attached to this one, and then we have containers here, somewhere around here, containing cable and wire for us. Whereas these two will be the ones producing wire, and these two will be producing 30 wire per minute times 2, which equals 60 wire per minute for 30 cable per minute. The less handcrafting, the better. The more you can automate things, the happier you will be. And of course, that is the point of production line games. I mean, if you enjoy handcrafting, I'm not going to deny you the option of doing so, but at least I prefer to have the things automated. Let's go 4 up here, because I want to be sure that walking underneath, potentially driving underneath, is not an issue. And here we want to have a merger. I'm not sure if the distance here is correct. Yeah, here we can go out to 2. 2. The green arrows need to point that way. 2, 3, 4. But whether or not the distance is correct is not really that important. What you just need to make sure is that this is 2 off, and then go up 4. Then you have the perfect angle that you're looking for. So that's fine. We need a merger here as well, and that needs to point that way. Remove these and remove these. Then we connect these two together, and of course we need to have, not that way, a lift going into there, and a lift going into there. Then we can belt that up to that, and with these two need to... have I done wrong again? Yes, I have. The red arrows need to face that way, of course. There we go. And then we have lifts going to those. We also need power here. Okay, so this power pole goes on this angle. I think that's the correct place. No, it isn't. There. Do a power line, and a power line, and a power line. And we connect these up. Connect this one to that one. And then we have to place a power pole here, where we connect these two up to one another. And a power pole here, which we connect to both that and that. I'm not totally sure how to connect up to the rest of the base here. Let's place down the foundations here very quickly so that I have foundations for the power poles now. Oh, I need to change back to the correct tool belt or hotbar, depending on how you want to terminologize it. And connect those up to these. I'm pretty sure that this power line is not in alignment with the power lines going over here. Not that that is a big issue, but it's on the actual seam, so that's fine. Well, that's handy. That was easier than expected. I even got it clean and nice. No power though. Why is there no power? There we go. Connect that to that, and this one goes to this one, then to that one, this one goes to that one, and boom, now we have power with everything here. These are now producing copper ingots. Those copper ingots are going into these machines, and these machines will then produce wire. And everything is just happy, happy, happy. Let's go check on the screws. What I also need to remember to do is, I need to do something about this at some point. I need to connect up the third machine here, since they're producing 20 each. We're actually just putting 40 of them, so these machines will just fill up to 100 and stop. The fourth one will, regardless, unless I set up another... screws are being produced. Unless I set up another storage container, which I'm not going to bother with. We don't need that many iron plates. Yay, we have enough screws. Let's grab this. I don't remember... Ah, right, that's how you do it. Okay, so this is also a fairly important tip. Control and drag with your right mouse button. I want 300 of these. Can I type that in? That I can type that in, perfect. Then split, because we need 300, and then I can put the rest back. Screws is something that I'm not too fond of walking around with in my inventory, especially not this early on when we only have... what is this? 24 inventory slots? Inventory slots is precious at the early game stage. We also need enough copper wire. Yeah, that's going to take a little while. I will pause the recording while we wait for that, and then we can go end the episode with finishing the milestone. Here we are, and of course now I have to change the screen manually. This Stream Deck is sometimes a bit finicky. Okay, so we should have enough copper wire by far. I even have 158 left when we're done. Let's go over to the hub. And then go in here and transfer that, and a stack of these, and kaboom.
Milestone reached. The molecular analysis machine, referred to as the MAM, will allow R&D to provide new technologies, items, and buildings based on samples collected in the field. To ensure a greater chance of success during exploration, an upgraded tool belt has been provided, as well as an object scanner and beacons. Note: the object scanner requires calibration via the MAM to enable detection of specific objects.
So there we go. The next milestone that I definitely want to aim for, obviously, is in Tier 2, will be the Logistics Mark II. That means I'm going to handcraft the reinforced iron plates, because we would need part assembly to get the assembler if I wanted to automate that. But I want the stackable conveyor pole and the Mark II belt before I go into the complexity of the assembler, because doing assembler work without the stackable conveyor poles, and for that matter without the Mark II belts, no, I don't think I want to do that, particularly since the the main recipe that we need to do first in the assembler is the reinforced iron plates, which requires 5 times 12, so that is, it requires 60 screws per minute for one, so I guess it is feasible to do it with one belt. That is a 1 Mark 1 belt, but So yeah, I hope that the way that I did this in doing preparations before the episode, and then I had actually built all of that before, but tearing it down, showing you what I've done in the actual episode works well. That's a way that we can have episodes that actually gets to the point, shows you how to build things and how to plan things in a somewhat coherent way. Do please leave feedback in the comments, and of course also questions. And sometimes people will also write useful tips in the comments, I've noticed, so don't be afraid to look at the comments for that as well. But most of the feedback that I get in the comments I will also mention in the videos, so everything will be in here, at least insofar as much as I can remember, that is. Built a little bridge here, as you can see as well. But for now, thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you all in the next... I will see you all in the next episode.